Welcome to the Leading at the Next Level podcast with Dove Development and Consulting, the show built to provide ongoing support for your leadership journey. So before I get rolling, I want to give you a little bit of background about what we're doing, why we do these. So we really created this podcast as a way to reach people that we couldn't through what we were doing in any other way. We've got a lot of different stuff. In many cases, you'll hear me reference our Leading at the Next Level program. And if you stick with us through the end, I'll share a way you can get a trial to kick the tires on that you won't find anywhere else. It's a pretty cool program that Cindy and I've put together over the last, 6-7 years now. And with that said, I want to move real quick. This is something that is so unique. We've got the opportunity. We're putting on an event, and depending on when you hear this, when you access this, maybe it's after the event, but we're putting on an event in June of 2025 at the Atlantic Union Bank Center called the Leadership Legacy Experience. It's based on my newest book, Leading with a Clear Purpose, and we've developed some amazing partnerships to be able to pull that event off. And one of those partners is with me today. His name's Frank Chicatano. He is the Manager of Business Development with JMU Sports Properties, a division of Learfield, but they do some absolutely amazing work. Now, Frank and I met several years ago, and I remember the conversation. We became friends quickly, and in talking about his role, he says, "Hey, do you want to get lunch sometime and talk about what we do with JMU Sports Properties and how we serve our businesses?" And I'll let him share more about that. But I'll say my first interaction was, "Yeah, I'm not sure I'm your target market, dude. It's me and Cindy. We don't really have a marketing budget. We've grown organically. We work really, really hard, but it's us. We're not big players." And it was absolutely amazing to see the way Frank crafted a plan, a relationship, a partnership that would serve us well and would really drive return on investment for us, to put us in a space that we didn't necessarily have access to, that we wouldn't have got without that relationship with him. So Frank, with that said, excited that you're with us. We're going to chat about a number of different things. Before we get into some of the nuts and bolts, how about sharing an overview of your professional background and your experience in the industry as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Wes. I'm excited to be here, excited to have a conversation with you today. We're looking forward to the Leadership Legacy Experience in June here at the Atlantic Union Bank Center. It's really exciting to bring an event like that to campus here at JMU, to Harrisonburg, and really awesome to see how our partnership has blossomed, and in some ways, not always, but in some ways led to something like this. I know you and Cindy have put in a lot of foundational work over the last decade with Live to Lead to sort of build your way into this. But, I think everything kind of factors into it, and it's a really great, just another piece of synergy that plays into our partnership and the relationship that you and I have built. And I'm really excited to have that, come to town in June. But I appreciate the introduction. My role with JMU Sports Properties is to connect brands and businesses with the JMU community and our fan base through JMU athletics partnerships. I've spent the better part of 6 years working with Learfield, which is a larger company. We're actually an affiliate organization with JMU. Learfield is a multimedia rights and sports marketing and technology company that supports universities and their athletics departments. The company has relationships with about 200 other schools across the country, and it runs the gamut from Alabama, Texas, big power group of 4 schools like that, down to smaller schools such as Lehigh and Bucknell that in Pennsylvania that play in the Patriot League. So there's a real wide array of schools, and every partnership that Learfield has with a different school looks a little bit different. But foundationally, the idea is to have a local team like JMU Sports Properties and myself and our team here who are responsible for driving engagement between brands and businesses within the community and helping them achieve their goals through exposure and opportunities and customized, tailored campaigns that all in all are part of a JMU athletics partnership.
So, Frank, one of the things that every time Cindy and I are with a group, especially if it's a group that we've not interacted with before, it's the first time we're there, I always ask the group, hey, how many of you have responsibility for leadership in your role right now today? And inevitably, the folks that raise their hands are the ones that have a title that says supervisor, manager, whatever, that have direct reports. Now, JMU Sports Properties is a small team, right? And you don't have direct supervisory responsibility, but you have huge leadership responsibility. It's just not through authority, it's through relationships, it's through influence with every client, including me and Cindy, that you support through that role at JMU Sports Properties. I want you to talk a little bit about what was your clear purpose for accepting that leadership responsibility. And I stress that it's really leadership. It's not authority, it's leadership that you've got.
Yeah, you're right. And it took me a little bit, I think, to understand that perspective in terms of leadership and how I fall into a leadership role, because you're right. I don't have direct reports. And I think there's the common understanding of what leadership is. And I sort of thought about it outside the box, and you and Cindy have kind of enlightened that in me. But my leadership role is to lead and serve the partner organizations that I'm working with, and to lead and serve JMU athletics through developing and stewarding its network of supporters. So we've got individuals and businesses that we have to serve, and I think that is a clear display of leadership, that I myself and our team have to engage in every day, with those, both JMU athletics as our primary partner, and then all of the partners that we work with, in that engagement matrix there. So my clear purpose for this leadership role, I think, is to be, when I think about all of the organizations that I work with, and then JMU, the organization that I represent, my clear purpose is to be a catalyst for change for all of them. And by that, I mean, I collaborate with the partnering organizations who are supporting JMU athletics through their partnership. I collaborate with those organizations to use JMU athletics as a platform to drive change within their respective organizations, however that needs to look within what their specific goals and objectives are. And then from a JMU perspective, I'm a catalyst for change in that we create partnerships that benefit both the organization that is partnering with us, but also JMU athletics simultaneously, because we're contributing to growth and support for the athletics department here, in many different ways. So I think leading, the clear purpose for this leadership role is defined by the way that we can affect the change in everybody that we're working with, and really from a growth perspective is our goal.
Yeah. And it's intentional. I love that you used the word partnership several different times. I'm going to come back to that with my next question. Before we get to that, though, I really want to hear from you, because we're several years apart in age, right? And we've got very different backgrounds, not wildly different, but different with industries and so on. I want to hear from you. What really motivated you to get involved in leadership development and really access in any level of training, any training? And I hope it's something other than just me twisting your arm and leaving a bruise and saying, dude, you got to do this with me.
Well, the bruise has gone away. So that hasn't played as much of a role anymore. But no, my motivation was personal and professional growth, first and foremost. I'm a not so young professional anymore, but, as a young professional, looking at how can I organically create opportunities, because to our earlier point, right, my leadership role looks different than something that's more traditional. I don't have a lot of opportunities on a daily basis within my office or within my team to lead individuals in a personal way. So I've got to kind of grow as a leader in a different and unique way. But so my goal was to say, how can I organically create those experiences for me to have some growth in that world? And at the end of the day, it is personal, because I want to advance in my career and be better for myself on a personal level. But I also want to improve myself to benefit my organization and those that I'm serving more. So the thought process is the more I invest in myself and the more I can improve and grow for myself, naturally I will be serving my teammates and the organizations that I'm working with. I'll be serving them better. And my involvement has provided me with exposure to different ideas and viewpoints, communication and leadership styles, and things that I would not have otherwise really thought as areas to apply to my own, professional setting. So the more, at the end of the day, the more you expose yourself to, the more that you can kind of look in the mirror and self-reflect and evaluate what will work and what won't, and apply all that to yourself. So that's sort of the motivation and background there.
Yeah. And you've used the term serve a couple of different times. And the reality is you can't be what you ain't is, right? How's that for grammar, right? I mean, you can't be what you ain't is. You can quote me on that. But hey, the part that I've watched so often in roles like yours, I hear the connotation of, oh, he's here to sell me something. And the reality is that's absolutely not what you do. It's really about that partnership and how do you add value? How do you provide something of value, a resource to the folks that you work with, that you partner with? And over the last several years, I guess all of the years, maybe with the exception of 2015, the very first year we did our Live to Lead Harrisonburg event, we've been really intentional about using that word partnership that you referenced a few times here too. And that's really culminated in, I think, a really good relationship between Dove Development Consulting and JMU Sports Properties, because it's not been transactional. It's been very relational about how can we work together to serve each other the most. Now, with all that said, talk to me a little bit about why you've been willing, why you, Mike, Jordan, the team there have been willing to partner, not just on the last couple of years of Live to Lead Harrisonburg experience, but now with this bigger event that's on your campus, that's in the building that your signage is all around and so on. Why is that something that you said, heck yeah, we want to be involved, and gosh, you're even willing to be part of a panel? And I know that's not something you're necessarily comfortable with or excited about, but you were willing to say, yeah, I'll do it, and I'll make sure it's a win.
Well, that bruise for the panel is still over here on this shoulder. So maybe that'll be gone by the time June rolls around. But no, I'm excited. And this has been a really unique partnership for us, because we are an organization that also our role is to help other businesses tell their story and connect with a group of passionate fans and a passionate audience that is linked, through alignment with JMU athletics, right? That's our foundational role. But we're an organization with a story to tell as well. And we don't necessarily do that a lot, other than, connecting with individual organizations and working just at a very grassroots level. So our partnership with Live to Lead over the last couple of years has provided us with a platform to tell our story to a wider array, of local business leaders in the community, and it provides visibility and an opportunity to share information about what we do, and to an expansive network within the Valley. And I'm also excited and happy to support this event, because I love that you and Cindy provide something like this to the community, which, again, going back to the earlier conversation, it's the opportunity for individuals, young professionals like myself, seasoned leaders, there's a wide array that you all work with and have really great personal relationships with. It's the opportunity for those individuals to better themselves and affect positive change for themselves and their organizations. So I am more than happy to be involved in something that, is your way of being a catalyst for change within the community and your partners.
Well, the word of advice I can give you is, with that bruise, if it's not gone by June, just wear long sleeves. It's not a big deal, dude. Suck it up, man. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about every business, and you guys are not isolated from that in any way, shape, or form. What would you like the community to know about JMU Sports Properties, the impact that Learfield as a whole wants to have that they probably don't know or maybe misunderstand?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it right off the jump here. The most common misconception that we face as an organization is the audience that we're connecting our brand partners to. I think there's often a thought that our platforms are, because we're JMU and we're a university and it's, it's college athletics, and there's a certain preconceived notion behind that we're largely student facing audience, or we're confined to a smaller geographic footprint within Harrisonburg or the county or the valley. But the truth is that our fan base is expansive and it's diverse. The student and JMU campus population only represents a portion of our overall fan base. We've grown, especially over the last decade, but really beyond that, we've grown to be a statewide brand with tremendous reach in Northern Virginia and Richmond and the Hampton Roads. And over the last decade, that reach has gone regional now. I mean, you drive around Harrisonburg and you see how many New Jersey license plates are driving around here. There is a tremendous pipeline of folks coming from the tri-state area, coming down here. And, it speaks to what our fan base is growing to across, at a regional level. Yes, we're naturally a fit for businesses and organizations that are hyper-local, or organizations looking to reach the campus community, such as some of the mass consumer-facing businesses here in town, or student housing partners and things like that. Yeah, that's a natural fit. But we also have a lot of success providing strategic partnerships for organizations looking for a broad reach beyond just the Valley, or Wes, in your case, something that's more niche. And I understand that you're not McDonald's or Bojangles, and you're not going to measure this by how many people are walking through your doors. So we need to be intentional about, when we're crafting a plan, we need to be intentional about, here's why we're looking in the areas that we're looking in, and I think you guys have seen that firsthand. And once we get past some of those misconceptions, and I think allowing folks to understand how we're here to be a strategic solution for them, that really helps get the conversation rolling in the right direction.
Yeah, and some of those things are no different than what Cindy and I faced over the last 10 years. And the question often is, oh, you guys do stuff with folks that aren't in Harrisonburg? Hey, if I were only doing work with companies that were in Harrisonburg, I would be living in a van down by the river, right? Because there's only a certain amount. It's a small niche. It's a very specific need that we work to fill. And for a long, long time, we did way more business outside of Harrisonburg than we did in the Shenandoah Valley. And praise God for that, because again, it meant we get to sleep inside and do things, greedy things like that, and eat food, And this event that's coming up in June, the Leadership Legacy Experience, has Mark Cole, the CEO of Maxwell Leadership. He's traveled the world with John Maxwell, the number one leadership speaker in the world. He's traveled the world with John. He's not publicized himself. He said, John's the front man. I'm not trying to be John Maxwell. But the reality is, Mark is a rock star. He's been in front of kings and dignitaries and all these people worldwide. He just doesn't promote that. But we've convinced him, because he wrote the foreword to my first book, we've convinced him to come here and be part of this. He's doing some VIPs and so on. We've got folks coming from New Jersey, and we've got folks coming from California, and we've got folks from Tennessee and Georgia and several others. I think Oklahoma. There's several states. Oh, you mean it's not just a Harrisonburg event? No, just like your business isn't just a Harrisonburg business, right? So we've got to dispel those misconceptions. Now, about you guys do a lot. It's not just about the businesses. It's not just about JMU and students. It's really about the community. Share a recent example of some type of successful project, a campaign that you guys have really spearheaded, and what type of impact it's had. I know it firsthand, but talk about that a little bit. So anybody catching this now, later on, however, they can here's the impact that you guys really have.
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, on a foundational level, everyone who is partnering with us is supporting the student athlete experience at JMU. They're helping JMU athletics continue to compete at a high level, and they're providing, like I said, a great, supporting the experience for the student athletes to compete in the sports that they love. So all of our partners, that's what I like to share with them, at a foundational level, is that this partnership is extremely important from a community perspective there. Like, JMU is such a large part of the Valley community that your support of something that's such a large part of JMU is in turn should be seen as, a way that you're supporting the community. And you're also supporting it in a way that you're providing you're able to provide an experience for the fans and for students and for everybody who holds JMU near and dear to their heart. Our partners are supporting initiatives that help elevate JMU and help just continue our campus and our department's growth within the community to help create just a larger sense of community around the valley, that JMU has that role in the valley. Kind of segueing back to the previous topic is some of the partnerships, a lot of the partnerships that we work with. One of the most common things that we hear is we want, a prospective partner wants their partnership to, beyond their support of JMU athletics, they want to showcase this impact that they're having in the community. So we have a lot of campaigns that we've developed that have helped partners align with community-facing initiatives here through JMU athletics. So, for example, Food Lion is the one that comes to mind because we've been recently wrapping up their Score to Give More basketball campaign. But they do campaigns at basketball and football that support the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank with donations. They tie the free throws that JMU men's basketball makes, and then during football it's the quarterback sacks. They tie those performances into donations that support the food bank. Martin's also does a canned food drive to support the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank through their partnership. So we also work with others such as Lance Construction. Similarly, they do they support local nonprofit organizations with donations that are tied to touchdowns and 3-pointers. Chick-fil-A has been a long time sponsor of our Puppy Pound Youth Program. This year, Everence Financial will be sponsoring the Bat Kid, JMU Bat Kid initiatives during softball games. And there are some others that I've missed. I know of it, but I think at the end of the day, these types of partnerships they're hitting on the objective that our partners have, where they want to impact the community, but they also provide visibility. They're say, hey, I don't just want to hang a sign up in the football stadium or the baseball field. I want to somehow impact the community, and the visibility to them is secondary, but it also is impactful. So Food Lion is getting a lot of great visibility out of their campaign with us, but they're also impacting the community. Same goes for Lance Construction and Chick-fil-A and all of those partners that are doing those specific types of campaigns through their partnership. So it's really just, I think that speaks to the way that we can peel back a couple layers of that onion to figure out, hey, you've got this very specific goal in mind. How can we craft something, or what do we have that we're already doing that is a community-facing initiative through JMU Athletics that we can tie your brand to for that type of impactful visibility.
I love it. I love the way you guys work intentionally with those partners, and through making those partnerships more cohesive, you can do a lot more things, right? I mean, we've got a fantastic, and have had for a number of years, relationship with Blue Ridge Area Food Bank through our Live to Lead event. And while they're not the face community partner of the Leadership Legacy experience, we're benefiting through them. We're working with them through the event as well. Just the Harrisonburg Professional Firefighter Foundation is our keynote kind of community partner that we're really listing and helping drive some traffic and donating proceeds to, and so on and so forth. With this in mind, talk a little bit about the purpose of the organization, the JMU Sports Properties purpose, and how it really aligns with what you're passionate about, what's meaningful, your values, your individual purpose.
Yeah, well, again, we touched on it a couple of times, but really, like, our foundational purpose here is we're here to generate revenue for JMU Athletics, and we're here to create partnerships that help the partnering organizations realize their various, support their objectives and their goals, and use JMU as a platform to help their business see benefit and grow. To do that, we have to be strategic, creative, and solutions based in the way that we approach developing and executing these partnerships. And I think these 3 keywords are what align closely with me on a personal level, because I enjoy the opportunities to think creatively And I believe that intentionality and strategic thinking are key in any effort made by an individual to impact change and be an effective leader.
Now, last question before I say, hey, is there anything else you'd like to share? Is if somebody's hearing this, if somebody's part of the event in June, if you're catching this later on a podcast or whatever it may be, what advice would you give to somebody that's an aspiring young professional wanting to advance in your career? And here's the reality. You might think, well, I'm still that young person, but hey, Frank, the ship is sailing, my friend. I used to be that young guy too, but it's going away. We're not staying stagnant. So what's that advice that you would really give to somebody else to grow in their leadership role?
I think the importance of investing time in yourself in a lot of different ways. I think that the effort you put in to seek development and training, like attending, if your organization is giving you the opportunity to attend the Leadership Legacy experience in June, or be a part of a group that's going to Live to Lead, or anything like that, whether it's with Wes or Cindy, or whether you're listening to this 500 miles away and it's something in your community, if you've got those opportunities to do that, invest the time and do that for yourself, because it'll put you in a room with not only with individuals who are sharing their perspective on leadership in like a curriculum way, but also you're in the room with other leaders who are desiring the same type of growth. And I think a lot of my growth has come from sharing ideas and having exposure to those other peers from a leadership perspective. So get yourself in a room with those folks and expose yourself to that. And, also spend time in self-reflection and self-evaluation to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. Your strengths, and so then you'll know how you can apply those to better serve your organization or yourself and whatever you're doing. But also understanding your weaknesses will help with that too, because you can say, well, hey, I don't perform well in this area and it's something I want to improve. But at the same time, like, that also helps you and that helps your organization, because if you're not good at something, it's better to know that so that you can A, improve it, and B, not be put in a situation where you've got to do that. And maybe your organization can craft what you need to do around both your strengths and your weaknesses. Always be looking for ways to improve those weaknesses, but I think understanding those is just as important as understanding what you're good at. Seeking mentorship, again, that's also investing time in yourself more on a personal level with a mentor or mentors. And, always just be a sponge, absorb information and, skills as a leader, but also like the do's and don'ts from your peers and those that you're around, so that you can apply what you feel is a good piece of your leadership style and what you feel isn't. Apply that to your own personal style and always just be intentional with applying all these things that you're learning. And all of this kind of wraps under the umbrella of this all takes time and effort and intentionality to do, but it's worth the investment in yourself.
100%. And Cindy and I pushed really, really hard about it. It truly is an investment, and we've got to be, it's not something tangible. It's not something touchy feely. It's not something soft. It's something that absolutely shows up in productivity and profitability of an organization when we lead well, when we develop those skills and we're intentional about it. I love the way you put that about intentionality so much, because we've got to do that. And Frank, you've been a part of the Impact Leadership Academy, one of the first graduates of that program with us, and now we're in our Executive Leadership Lead think tank. And we put that group together specifically for how do we create an atmosphere where executives can have a focused environment on leadership culture in their organizations. Different industries, but all of us deal with people, and that's the constant for all. So we've tried to do that, but it's not just with us, it's wherever we're at. And what I found, to your point, is the more successful the folks are, the more willing they are to share it with somebody who's willing to listen and apply it. If somebody's just wasting their time, hey, go on, get something else, right? So as we bring this to a close, is there anything else you'd like to share? Is there anything else you'd like the community to know, or whomever accesses this about you specifically or the organizations that you serve?
No, I think I appreciate the platform here to dive a little bit deeper into what we do. I think we're a really unique organization with a really exciting product that we offer for our partners, and JMU, like I said, is within the Valley. It's as close knit to the Valley as you can get, but then our fan base and the passion that those fans bring to JMU, they also bring to the partners that are supporting JMU. So in terms of finding that value to getting aligned with JMU through athletics, athletics is the front porch of any university across the nation, save for maybe the Ivy Leagues, who have their own prestige in academics to flaunt, out there. But you look at every other school, it's athletics is kind of the first thing that comes to mind. And so we open that door for fans, for the university, and also for our partners to come on in and be affiliated with a really exciting opportunity to work with us. And at the end of the day, we want the partnership to our main goal. It doesn't do me any good if I put a partnership together that doesn't work for the partner. That just creates more headaches. So I think that the effort that I and our team here at JMU Sports Properties put into, strategically thinking and putting these together, and then also executing and making sure that value is being delivered. That effort is there because it only benefits us, and it benefits the organization. So we want to create a good experience, and that's what we're here to do. So we appreciate all of our partners and all of those that continue to support us and support JMU. And it's been a pleasure working with everybody in that sense as well, and a pleasure working, Wes, with you and Cindy on our partnership and being involved in so many exciting things that you all have going on.
Well, Frank, we certainly value the relationship that we've got business-wise, but more importantly, I appreciate the friendship. Thanks for taking the time to be here with me today. I know it's not something you jump up and down and are excited about doing, but I appreciate it nonetheless. You're awesome. Now, if you've been listening to the Leading at the Next Level podcast with us and you'd like to go deeper into anything we shared here, gosh, join us at the Leadership Legacy Experience on June 13th, 2025 in Harrisonburg, Virginia at the Atlantic Union Bank Center. Or here's what you can do. Reach out to us directly at admin@dove-development.net. If you have a need for continuing education credit, you'd like to go deeper into the full Leading at the Next Level program, we'll hook you up with a 45-day all-access trial to that program where we do live lessons monthly. And we've got a digital resource that has now more than 150 hours worth of lessons that we've written on the leadership skills that we've seen and experienced and helped clients with across the country really make a tangible impact in their culture and their bottom line. Make it a great day. Frank, hang with me just a second. Thanks again for being with me. See you guys soon. God bless.